Let's dive into a self-exploration of the waking state. In this waking state, I am sitting in an Advaita class. My eyes are closed, but I am awake. Ask yourself the question, do I see the truth of the waking state? The waking state renders me completely helpless. Nobody asks me if I want to wake up. I am helplessly pulled into the waking state every morning. So the statement that I wake up is false. Do I see this truth? Ask yourself this question. When I am in the waking state, thoughts arise of their own accord. I am helplessly knowing them at the moment they arise. So the statement I think is false. I cannot think. I only know the thought after it has automatically arisen. Ask yourself, do I see this truth of the waking state? Perceptions of sight, sound, smell, taste and touch happen of their own accord. I am helplessly knowing them at the moment they arise. I have no control over sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. Therefore, the statements I see, I hear, I touch, I taste, I smell are all false statements. Ask yourself this question. Do I see the truth of the waking state? emotions and sensations arise of their own accord, play of their own accord, and dissolve of their own accord. I am helplessly knowing at the moment they arise, play, and dissolve. Therefore, the statements like I feel, I sense are false statements. I cannot feel, I cannot sense anything. I simply know when feelings, sensations, emotions arise and fall away. There is a difference between knowing and feeling. There is a difference between knowing and perceiving. There is a difference between knowing and thinking. Thinking, feeling, perceiving are all doing actions. Knowing is simply a witnessing action. Ask yourself this question. Do I see this truth about the waking state? Because of the hypnosis of the waking state, I am deluded into believing that thoughts are mine, actions are mine, perceptions are mine, experiences are mine. They all belong to me. But this is simply a deluded belief. My assumptions of doership and experiencership render me completely helpless, such that I forget my own true being. Because of forgetting that I am consciousness projecting consciousness, I tend to take the world of people, situations, and things as real. When I take people, situations, and things as real, I attribute individual consciousness to images of people. When I attribute individual consciousness to the images of people, I consider them to be inherently independent. I attribute inherent independence to people, situations, and things. I assume that people, situations, and things exist independent of my consciousness. I assume that people, situations, and things exist independently of my consciousness. When I assume people, situations, and things to be inherently independent, I also assume that they are all interlinked. And that belief gives birth to the belief of cause and effect. Thus, I create a world of space and time governed by cause and effect. But such a world where there is space, time, cause, effect is only an assumption. When I believe strongly in my assumption, I try to influence the effects by trying to modulate the causes. And I get entangled in my own personal world. In this helpless hypnotic state, I have forgotten so much. Ask yourself if you recognize all that you have forgotten. Remind yourself I have forgotten my true nature of consciousness. I have forgotten that the true nature of the world is also simply consciousness. I have forgotten that there is nothing like an independently existing entity separate from me, the consciousness. I have forgotten that there is no space and no time. I have forgotten that there is no cause and no effect. I have forgotten that there is no link between assumed entities. I have forgotten that I am not the doer nor the experiencer. I have forgotten that I was never born and I will never die. I have forgotten that there is only the light of consciousness. Nothing like life, death, self, or non-self. I have forgotten that there is nobody out there. There is no world. I am all by myself. I have forgotten that there is no God sitting up in the sky, or in the temple, or in the church, or in the mosque. I have forgotten that I am trapped by stories. The magic of this waking world is so strong that it pulls me into its grip without my wish. And it pushes me out of the waking state without my permission. I am totally helpless. When I wake up to the truth that is beyond all these stories, the helplessness drops away. I recognize that I am not the waking dream subject that I assume to be. I am consciousness itself. I recognize that I am not in the world. The world is in me. I am the source and the ground of this world. Everything begins and ends with me, the consciousness. All is my game. All has been happening on accord of my desires and fears. And all this can end once I recognize that I am the source. I must begin with myself. There is no other way. There is no other way. This revelation crashes all story castles, and what is left is only consciousness. Only consciousness. I am the beginning. I am the end. I am consciousness. May I always revel in this truth and never fall prey to the grievous sin of taking the appearances for reality. May I have the courage to overcome the hypnotic power of Maya. May I go beyond the world created by the false I. May all stories be discarded like poison. I am Brahman, the source of all. May I rest in my own being. May I rest in my own true being.